Dear Dhamma friends, we have come to the last question and answer session. So Lakshmi is ready with the written questions, so we'll start with written questions. Yeah.
Yes, Bhante, thank you. We have, I would say, 12 questions.
Right.
And a number of them are not on meditation and a number of them are on meditation. I'll first start with the meditation questions.
Yes.
Most Venerable Thero, in sitting meditation, I can concentrate on the primary object, that is tip of my nose. After I have kept my concentration, I feel like as if the breathing in and out get detached from the tip of my nose while I am still aware of my breathing. Then, do I need to keep my concentration on all three, that is the primary object, breathing in and breathing out, at once? Kindly advise. May you attain Nibbana.
Can you repeat the last statement?
Do I need to keep my concentration on all three? By three, the person means the primary object, breathing in and breathing out at once.
Typically, actually, one at a time. Say when you are keeping attention on, say for example, when breathing in happens, you have to totally be aware of breathing in. You don't need to worry about breathing out. Actually, that is actually mentioned in the books. Now, if you are thinking about breathing out while the real experience is breathing in, it's a kind of a distraction. It's a kind of an obstacle for development of the concentration. And on the other hand, when the breathing out happens, if you are thinking about or expecting the breathing in, then again it's an obstacle for concentration. So when breathing in happens, you have to be totally with breathing in. When breathing out happens, you have to be totally with breathing out. So one at a time, because everything is very much in succession. Breathing in conditions the breathing out conditions the breathing in. So likewise, one at a time. So it's a matter of paying or focusing our attention on breathing in when it is happening. Actually, we don't need to know even what is going to happen. We are simply keeping our attention at the nostril. If it is indicating, it is, say for example, rubbing in towards the inner direction, inside, then we can determine, okay, that is the in-breath. Or else, say, the passage of air appears like somewhat cold, then we, determine this is the breathing in. On the other hand, say the breathing out happens, that means, say, rubbing happens towards the external direction, going out direction, or it's warmer than the in-breath, then we decide, okay, this is the out-breath. So likewise, these are the indications to decide whether it is in-breath or out-breath. Actually, with time, even these indications become fairly subtle. You can't even distinguish whether it is in-breath or out-breath. So the in-breath and out-breath become subtler and subtler. So we have to facilitate that process. So therefore, when in-breath happens, be aware of that. When out-breath happens, be aware of that. When in-breath happens, don't think about the out-breath. And when out-breath happens, don't think about the in-breath. Yeah.
Sitting Meditation Part 1. Garu Swamin Wahansa, I commenced meditation in 2014 after reading a book written by the Most Venerable Narada Thero on the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the Satara Satipatthana. At first, my meditation was regular, but due to pressure of work, it became intermittent. Then for 2 years, that is 2017 and 2018, I could not engage in regular meditation as I was engaged in some assignments. In March 2019, I recommenced the meditation practice. Although it was difficult to focus my mind at first, after a long lapse, I somehow succeeded in concentrating on the in-breath and out-breath as it was felt at the tip of my nose. I noticed that after the first half hour or so, in-breathing and out-breathing completely disappear, and I get into a certain void which I can't describe fully. All this time I know that my mind is with me as random thoughts suddenly spring up and I am back in the present moment. Then I again indulge in Anapanasati and the whole process repeats itself. After about an hour, alarm going off. Sometimes when I am back in the present moment, I find that my chin is touching the upper part of my chest. Then I feel disappointed that I was in the sleep mode. Please advise whether I had been in the sleep mode, Garu Swamin Vahansa. However, quite recently during Anapanasati meditation, whenever there are random thoughts, I switch onto Vipassana meditation by contemplating on the Pancha Upadana Skandha. On other occasions, I switch onto Marnanusati Bhavana by contemplating on my own body. This has helped me immensely to focus my mind without letting any other thought get in the way. When my mind calms down this way, I switch back onto Anapanasati and the whole process described under part 1 repeats itself. Garu Swamin Vahansa, please advise whether I am doing this correctly. Thiruvan Saranai.
May I know who has written it? So the thing is, I mean, through Anapanasati also you can come to a certain concentration. Yes, so it's difficult to say whether you come to this concentration either through Vipassana route or the Samatha route, because Anapanasati has both ways. It facilitates both. So therefore, what I think is, now once your mind becomes fairly concentrated through Anapanasati, check whether are there any sensations available in the body, or if not, you can't recognize any of them. So you can introduce various touching points. Say for example, your hands may be kept like this. Then you can understand, okay, there is some sort of a touching. And or else you can feel that the weight of the right hand is felt at the left hand. Or else you can feel that some sort of a warmth is felt, some heat is felt. So likewise, there are certain indications of these, say what we call as element characteristics. So you recognize, if you don't have already available very much prominent sensations, then you can see any of these touching points. Example, this touching point, hand touching point, or else you can have the leg to leg touching point, or else your buttocks are touching the cushion. There are a few more touching points there. Or else your legs are touching the mat. Again, few touching points are there. So likewise, once the concentration has developed through Anapanasati, rather than staying there, now you can focus your attention to any of these selected touching points. Say you found there are 10 touching points. Among them, find a most prominent one and keep your attention there. Again and again, you are bringing your attention there. Again and again, you are bringing your attention there. Then the concentration built at the nostril will be transferred to that new place. So then you are observing that new place, new information, new touching sensation again and again. So say you couldn't recognize it well. Then you suppose you get another touching points available. Then you switch to that and then start doing that. So likewise, now your whole body becomes available for you to start some kind of a contemplation. So this will lead to properly actually to Dhatu Manasikara, to the element meditation. So different element characteristics are available, and your say, concentrated mind is able to observe all these phenomena. And at the beginning it appears like not giving much fruit, much results. But later, as your concentration improves, you'll be able to understand these are not just kind of a static something, but rather it's constantly changing. It's not something permanent. It's not a name, or it's not a what you call a noun. Rather, it's a verb, something like that. So it's a kind of a process. So in order to recognize that, you have to again and again apply your concentration to that different places, and you have to keep observing that what's happening there. So then your vipassana side now began. Yeah. So therefore, through anapanasati, it's a bit difficult to decide at this stage whether it is a kind of a useful kind of a concentration, or kind of a dull kind of a concentration. So because if you are coming to a dull sleepiness kind of a concentration, it is not much useful.
How do you sort of distinguish, so I answer whether, when my chin touches the chest, whether I was in the sleeping mode?
That's the thing, because anapanasati can lead to that kind of situation. Because typically there is a possibility of anapanasati also leading towards the vipassana side. So that actually does not have in between this type of one. Typically when your mind is well concentrated through anapanasati, at the kayanupassana section, say you feel kind of a lightness of the body. Your heaviness has gone.
It doesn't happen all the time.
Yes.
But
time to time.
Yeah, time to time. Yeah.
And then
because I meditate continuously for 1 hour first. When the alarm goes off, I don't feel like getting up. I continue. And when next time when I come to the present moment, to see it's another hour gone.
Right. So basically, you need to improve wisdom through kind of a continuous observation. So that is extremely necessary. Just by keeping our attention on, this kind of an object, unless you turn it to vipassana, it may not happen automatically. Say for example, even anapanasati you can convert to dhatu manasikara, where rather than considering it as in-breath or out-breath, when mind is well concentrated there, you can recognize, there's a rubbing sensation there. There's a heat available there, or there's a hot feeling available there, some touching sensation available there, and there you recognize them in a different perspective, different angle, and you see again the beginning of the rubbing, then the middle of the rubbing, then the end of the rubbing, beginning of the movement, middle of the movement, end of the movement. So likewise, you are now see the characteristics of these different elements. So then you are actually, through anapanasati also, you are seeing different characteristics of the breath. So likewise, we need to turn our attention to the wisdom side. So unless we do that, it may not happen automatically. Yeah.
Okay, Swami.
Yeah.
Theruvan Saranai, Venerable Bhante. This is my report on sitting meditation. Sat comfortably, relaxed, and took my attention to the primary object, in and out breath. Noted both in breath and out breath at the tip of the right nostril. Observed that each out breath was about 3.5 times longer than each in breath. Observed that the breaths were even and steady and comfortable, but the breath did not disappear. Noted tightening of jaws, then relaxed the jaw muscles. This happened several times. The same happened with the face muscles. Observed difficulty keeping attention on the breath. Mind and body felt heavy, sluggish, not alert. The weight of folded hands on the lap felt very heavy. Was aware of occasional sounds. Sounds did not disturb. Thoughts did not disturb too much either. Then felt a sudden, deep, intense fear, recognizing that with such levels of sloth and torpor, one cannot become an arahat. Observed heart pounding with fear. Was very aware of speed and intensity of heart pressing against lungs. Noted the speed of heartbeats in relation to the speed of breaths, about 4 beats per breath. Observed fear subside and fade away. Noted that the pounding continued even without fear emotion. Noted amusement emotion that the pounding continued even after the fear had subsided. Observed heartbeats gradually returned to normal. Directed attention to in and out breath. Sloth and torpor and heavy sensations returned. Mind calmed down, body relaxed, felt thirst. Cycles between sloth and torpor and light and relaxed and thirst continued. Occasional sounds heard. Noted that a lot had been clearly observed and remembered despite the sloth and torpor. Duration about 2 hours.
Yeah, just continue. It's good. Actually, sloth and torpor is something you have to overcome with time, because when your mind get concentrated, when particularly the object becomes very subtle, so very often that we get into the sloth and torpor and we even go to sleep. But again and again practice, the repeated practice will help you to overcome sloth and torpor, where even with subtle object you can maintain awareness, maintain awakefulness, maintain mindfulness. So because if you immediately make some other action, say you start to breathe heavily or forcefully, or you get up and go to the, say, walking path, so these are actually disturbing process. Rather you continue this practice, and I hope that now you are able to observe various very neutral sensations that indicates your mind is now calming down, refining, concentrating. Now it's a matter of removing this sloth and torpor, and if probably you can, one another technique you can introduce is when sloth and torpor is happening, when you recognize it, probably you can introduce noting. That's also maybe slight noting, not very rough noting, maybe very short noting. Say for example, if you are returning to the breath, say you, rather than telling inhale, exhale, you can simply say 1, 2, 1, 2, something like that, just to again to re-energize the mind, just to little make it awaken, because this balance has to be this balance is very delicate. If you make too much rough or introduce too much labeling, too much noting, then again your mind get this prepared concentration will be lost. Again, if you don't do anything, you may fall asleep. So therefore again, so you have to introduce some noting and just increase little bit of energy and make it aware, make it awaken. Then you see whether you are able to overcome sloth and torpor, and you can continue observation, because you are able to observe fair amount of characteristics, very subtle phenomena, so that indicates mind is doing fairly good. So please continue. Yeah.
Sitting and walking. Theruvan Saranai, dear Bhante, I have been practicing meditation for about 1.5 years, both walking and sitting meditation. Since recently, I find that I cannot concentrate my mind during sitting meditation. I am unable to meditate for more than 20 minutes at a time. But I can practice being in the present often. Also, I can practice walking meditation more easily than sitting meditation. Are these a sign of my practice improving or not, happening properly? Please advise. Theruvan Saranai, a grateful yogi.
Actually, I can't say exactly details are not enough like. So can you come forward and explain a little bit more?
When I start the sitting meditation,
yes.
I can't seem to concentrate.
Where you hope to concentrate now?
Yeah.
No, where you are concentrating? You start with rising and falling, or in breath, out breath?
In
right.
breath, out breath.
Right.
And the mind doesn't go into samadhi.
Go into samadhi?
It doesn't.
Okay. But I mean, are you continuously aware of in breath and out breath?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I mean, your problem is now it does not become subtle. Is it?
I think.
Are you able to see various characteristics of the in breath and out breath? Say whether it is longer, whether it is shorter, whether this is the beginning of the in breath, this is the middle of the in breath, this is the end of the in breath, something like that. Are you able to focus like that?
I used to be.
You used to, right?
But not now.
Now, I mean, so you were continuing long time now almost for 1 year?
I did, but there was a lapse of about a few months.
Okay. How about walking?
Walking, I can concentrate on that.
Right.
Easily.
At that time, is your mind wandering?
Not much.
Not much.
At the beginning, it starts to wander, but I can concentrate afterwards.
Right. So, say at the end of the walking, what is the state of the mind?
It's more peaceful.
Peaceful. Okay. So basically, you are able to concentrate on the various sensations happening in the foot.
Yes.
So similarly, in the Anapanasati, in sitting meditation, I mean, even though the breath doesn't become, even though your mind becomes concentrated, isn't it? I mean, is it distracting, or the mind distract to various other things, or simply staying at the breath?
No, it distracts to other things. Yeah.
Okay. Then probably you can, do more on walking, because walking helps you to again calm down, again relax. Again, after walking, you come back to sitting. And basically, if you expect concentration to happen, that expectation itself become a hindrance, because we are asking something, no. So rather than asking, okay, I want concentration, why it is not happening like that, if you have this kind of sorrow in the mind, or this kind of craving in the mind for the concentration, that itself is a burden, because then mind becomes heavy, no. It's not relaxed. Okay. So the concentration happens when the mind is happy. Sukhino chittang samadhiyati. So, I mean, when the happiness, when the pleasure is not available, so the samadhi cannot happen. So you start, rather than expecting concentration, try to enjoy each and every breath. So right now in breath is happening. It is well and good. Now it is the out breath happens. It's well and good. It's beautiful. So likewise, you are introducing some sort of a joy into the practice. So when joy is introduced, that is much better. Because joy is one important characteristic for meditation. If you feel like bored, or if you feel like depressed, or if you feel like sorrowful, then it is not leading to the concentration. On the other hand, if you start with a very light mind, very relaxed mind, very joyful mind, then easily your mind get concentrated. So therefore, maybe another option is you can spread some metta. You can, rather than immediately go into Anapanasati, you can do some Buddhanusati. If you are used to do Buddhanusati, you can reflect about certain good qualities of the Buddha and make the mind happy a little bit and somewhat joy, and then switch to Anapanasati.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sitting and walking meditation. Most Venerable Thero, sitting meditation. I start with Anapanasati. It becomes subtle after a while. Some days I go to a sleep state from which I wake up, and then the mind is focused on a sensation which also is vague and subtle. Some days the mind goes to a lot of thoughts, but I am aware of the thoughts, they come and go. My question is whether to keep my mind on the subtle sensations, that is vibrations, heat patches, pain, etc., or thoughts, mental proliferations are controlled. The moment they arise, I am aware of it.
Yeah, I think first you can start watching sensations, and then you build up a fair amount of mindfulness, and again what you call the sampajanya, clear comprehension. Then you are fairly ready. Say you are in a very refined state of attention. then slowly look at the mind. So typically what happens is, as you start watching these sensations, they also become calm down, and automatically you would be able to look at the mind. So it happens in a progressive manner. So rather than immediately watching the mind, better to watch more sensations, then your mind become more refined, and you would be able to successfully look at the mind then.
Yeah. I'll continue. There's a second part, the report on walking meditation. The walking is natural and very relaxed. The moment the foot touches the ground, the whole weight is carried by the foot. I feel the weight shifting between the feet. My mind is mainly focused when the foot touches the surface, but sometimes I am mindful of the whole leg. Thoughts were less today. I also feel tightening sensation on my head when my mind is focused. My question is whether to pay attention to the vibration or the foot. Also, sometimes the whole time my mind is focused only on thoughts. Please advise, Bhante, may you attain Nirvana in this life itself.
So I think better to go with the walking. I mean, typically in the walking, you can pay attention more to the soles. And as you mentioned, when one leg is touching, the other leg is preparing. When the other leg is touching, the other leg is preparing. So likewise, this kind of a cyclic pattern is available there. So it's kind of an interesting process to observe. And with time, you might, now this has mentioned vibrations also available. Actually, these vibrations you can carefully watch while sitting. Walking is much better to, during walking, it is much better to concentrate on different legs, two legs, and the two soles. That is more interesting. And the important thing is, your mind is not much towards the concentration, but more towards the mindfulness. So then and there, you have to locate the mind. Again and again, you have to focus the mind, and the information is available at different places. So the what you call the Kanika Samadhi, very much the momentary concentration is the one available. That is more conducive for the Vipassana. But on the other hand, say while you are sitting, say your mind is well focused and you are in a very still posture. And now different places, say vibrations available, then you can carefully watch them, and you have the skill developed through the walking meditation that immediately you can locate at different places. So this skill being developed in walking. So therefore, get the skill being developed in walking, and then come to the sitting, and while sitting you observe various vibrations. That would be more successful.
Dear Most Venerable Bhante, we are newcomers to meditation. In many books and Dhamma sermons, we have noted that Satara Kamatahan have to be practiced for a brief moment, like 2 to 3 minutes for each Kamatahan before starting Anapanasati. Also, we have noted that Buddha Guna Bhavana or Maitri Bhavana has to be practiced for a few days before starting Anapanasati. Dear Bhante, as we are new to meditation, please explain and advise.
Yeah, these 4 meditations, what we call as the guardian meditation or protective meditation, is quite useful, of course. As I advised another previous yogi, so if your mind is fairly not in a happy mood, it is with little, sluggish mood, or say in a resentment, then going to Anapanasati is not much successful. So basically your mind has to come to a, as I said, kind of a positive mood, kind of a joyful mood, then Anapanasati will be successful. So therefore at such occasions you can introduce these 4 guardian meditations. Among them, say for example, Buddhanusati and Metta actually makes you quite happy. Particularly Buddhanusati makes you quite happy, and kind of a serene kind of a mind state is being developed. On the other hand, if you are in a, say, some kind of an angry mood, so then you can introduce say Buddhanusati and Metta. And Metta makes you again, say, forgiving and kind of a loving kindness, and again you are able to come back to the normal state of mind. Then you can switch to Anapanasati. On the other hand, say your mind is extremely lustful. At that time also, if you immediately go to Anapanasati, it may not be successful. At that time, you can introduce this what you call the Asubha Bhavana, or what we call as you see the loathsomeness of the body. So you may see different parts are available in the body. It is not that kind of a beautiful body. Rather, it's a kind of some loathsomeness is available. Some unattractive parts are there in the body. But unfortunately, at this moment, mind become lustful because I have taken it as a one thing, as a attractive one thing. But when you see this consisting of different say loathsome parts, then this already available lust will slowly diminish. Again, mind become fairly staying in the middle. Then you can switch to Anapanasati. On the other hand, say you don't have much energy to practice. On such occasion, you can introduce Marananusati, where you get some urge to practice. So likewise, these 4 guardian meditations have their own benefit. Different benefits are there. But on the other hand, say you are already happy, already in a very good mood, and you like to meditate, and mind is already uplifted, then directly you can go to Anapanasati, because the necessary condition is already available. So then you can immediately go to the carpet road. So Anapanasati is very much like the carpet road. But if you are in a side track, you can't jump to it. So you have to prepare the road. So this preparation are the 4 guardian meditations. But already if you are in the carpet road, so then you can start that immediately. So therefore, little bit of Buddhanusati and Metta of course will help, because it always make you happy. So say 5 minutes Metta, 5 minutes Buddhanusati, and then switch to Anapanasati, maybe very successful. So what you are asking is correct, and depending on the situation you can introduce these 4 meditations. It is not a must to do all 4, rather you select based on the state of the mind what you need.
Next come questions on Dhamma talk.
Yeah.
Dear Venerable Sir, yesterday in the sermon you said to identify hate arising as hate, greed as greed, etc. If there is conceitedness in a person, it may be more difficult to identify. How do we remove conceit? Is there another meditation other than Vipassana, such as Asubha, for this? Can you please explain to us? Bhante, this is 4 questions. Shall we go one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time. Yes. Yeah, so the first question is related to the conceit. Yeah, so basically, understanding conceit is actually difficult. So basically, it is said that that is one of the fetter available till you become an arahant. So even a Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami still has conceit. So therefore, recognizing conceit is not that easy. So this more and more you have to get into Chittanupassana, then only one would be able to recognize conceit. So therefore, try easy ones first. So understanding anger, understanding lust, these are quite easy. But more and more you recognize your mind, different these states, then slowly you will recognize conceit as well, because you have to switch to your attention to mind again and again, and you are able to recognize various mind states, and there you will be able to understand, okay, now I am in a conceited mood. So that actually is little difficult, because you need to have, you have to experience fair amount of calmness in the mind in order to recognize conceit also. Say for example, if your mind is already with so much of distractions, lot of memories, lot of future planning, and lot of defilements, among that environment it's difficult to recognize conceit. On the other hand, say you are able to experience fair amount of calmness in the mind. Say for example, you are able to maintain some clarity in the mind, and even the anisita state, what we call as the unassociated state of the mind. These are little advanced states available in the Vipassana, then slowly conceit is visible. And because conceit is very much like hidden, so now it becomes aware. I mean, you are now very wise. Slowly the yogi becomes little wise, and then wisdom helps to recognize this is the conceit. So therefore, trying at the first stage, trying to remove conceit is difficult. Yeah.
Can you please explain to us the simile of being like an earthworm that was mentioned in yesterday's talk?
Earthworm simile, actually I can't remember. I mean, it is not directly mentioned as an earthworm, but Buddha has mentioned in Kitagiri Sutta, where what is called as Sattha Bhagava Savako Hamasmi Janati Bhagava Aham na janamiti. So it's a very beautiful statement, but they're telling a faithful devotee how he is putting himself or herself in the correct position. He's telling Sattha Bhagava, the teacher is the Buddha. Savako Hamasmi, I am just a student. So this is the position we have to keep ourselves. And Bhagava Janati Aham na janamiti. Buddha knows, I don't know. So you can see how humble, how innocent kind of an attitude we have to have. So this Buddha is telling, so this is the kind of an attitude, the correct place a devoted yogi is keeping himself or herself. So this kind of attitude is very useful. So because you understand, it's a kind of a battle with the defilements ultimately when it comes to Vipassana. So if we are putting ourselves in a very high state, then never we can recognize conceit at all. But if we are keeping ourselves in a fairly innocent kind of a mild, very soft situation, so then we are able to recognize these say defilements. On one situation, for example, in Chittanupassana, if you all can remember, there's suppose you are able to maintain your mind in a very clear, very calm, very peaceful state, and then suppose your mind become angry. So in order to recognize the initiating or the beginning of the anger, and you need to sort of feel the kind of the calmness, kind of the softness, kind of the gentleness where you were. Compared to that, this anger is rough. Now the mind has become gross, kind of rough. So this means mind is very sensitive. Mind is very sensitive, and you are able to maintain this very sensitive, very soft, very gentle, very peaceful state of mind while you were there due to some reason. Okay, now mind became angry. This anger you can look at like a gross state. That is called olarika. Olarikan sankatam paticcasamuppanna. So this olarika means now compared to my previous habitat, previous state, the peaceful state, now this angry state is fairly gross. So likewise, so more and more softer mind is actually much beneficial. But on the other hand, now if you have a softer mind without wisdom support, you suffer. You are very sensitive, very soft, so easily others can disturb you. Easily you get into tears. But on the other hand, Vipassana, softness is maintained with wisdom. So you are very sensitive, even when someone is look at you, you understand even what is the attitude, even in that look. But still you are being supported with wisdom. You understand, you have the capacity, you have the wisdom support, so you have that strength with you. Therefore, keep all this. That's why I mean, the different ways that we have to support our practice. Wisdom has to be developed, gentleness has to be developed, loving kindness has to be developed. So different angles we are developing.
For a person who recognizes lust and habitually tends to react to it with hate, how do we correct the habit? May you attain Nibbana in this very life.
When you are feeling lust, you are making you hate. So that is not the way. So if you are, only at the beginning, then introduce Asubha Bhavana. Say, suppose your mind is extremely lustful, still you haven't developed enough mindfulness, then no point of looking at the lust at this moment. Because looking at it, again, you energize it. More lust, lust may be developed. On the other hand, you can do some counter actions. So for the lust, Asubha Bhavana is the opposite. Say you are looking at the body as I mentioned previously, as a loathsome something. Say for example, head hair. So even though it appears like beautiful at the moment, it becomes grey color, it becomes white color, and ultimately everything will drop. So it's not that beautiful. Say your teeth, okay, appears like beautiful, after a while become discolored and one and by different, and everything coming out, you have to go to the dentist. So many issues. So okay, skin at the moment looks good, but later wrinkles are coming, becoming ugly, fainted, and all these things, discolored. Similarly, different components, more and more you look at it mindfully, more and more look at it in the proper perspective, you will understand it's not that attractive. And no point of talking about the internal objects. Extremely ugly, extremely loathsome. If you look at your intestines, what is inside intestines? All are garbage. And how about urine, pus, and blood, and excreta, and all this? Already ugly, already loathsome. So we don't see them. We simply see the outer appearance. Very beautiful, very charming. So we get into lust. So if you simply penetrate few angstrom of your of your skin, then you will see the loathsomeness. So this color actually makes us blind. So if you are able to penetrate the skin, then it's very difficult to see the beauty. It's extremely ugly, extremely loathsome. So likewise, as you recognize this loathsomeness, this lust will disappear. So that is one antidote available. But as the development of mindfulness, so no need to introduce this Asubha Bhavana. Instead, you have to recognize lust as lust. Then only the real battle happens. So when the lust arising, you are not attacking with the Asubha Bhavana. Instead, you recognize how lust is arising, how lust is available. Now you are not feeding it. You are not even afraid of it. You are not hating yourself either. And you are now lust is diminishing. So that is beautifully explained in Dhammanupassana, in the Nissarana Pabba. That's what I have taken in, I think in yesterday's Dhamma sermon, where santangva ajjattang kamachandang attime ajjattang kamachandoti pajanati. Okay, mind is now lustful, so the yogi recognize it is lustful. Asantangva ajjattang kamachandang nattime ajjattang kamachandoti pajanati. There is no lust available, now mind is clean, there is no lust. He recognized it. Anuppannasa kamachandasa uppado hoti tancha pajanati. There was no lust due to certain causes, now lust is arising. Now the yogi can clearly see the arising of lust. So you can see the beginning, he can see clearly. And then uppannasa kamachandasa pahino hoti tancha pajanati. Now lust has come, sensual desire has arisen, but he is very mindful about it. He is not hating it, he is not claiming it as mind, but lust is lust, and he is very mindful. As a result, it is now gone. He understood, now it has gone. Pahinasa kamachandasa ayating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. When it has gone, for some time, it hasn't come yet. Mind is clean. So that is the proper approach that actually has to happen with time, after some fair amount of vipassana. So therefore, at the beginning, you are not talented to do this. At the beginning, this counter reaction or the antidote is the best one. What you call the antidote? No, I mean in the body, what you are taking when a germ is there, antibiotics. Something like that. So that is more useful at the beginning. Antibiotic is the Asubha Bhavana. Yeah.
Dhamma question. Most Venerable Bhante, what is the difference between Cheto Vimutti and Panya Vimutti? There are 3 questions. How can we apply these two in our meditation practice, and how can we develop these 2 abilities? How does one know which form of vimutti or liberation one should strive for oneself? I found very little information on these 2 in the suttas. Please forgive me if I am troubling you. May you attain Nibbana in this life itself.
Yeah. So, Cheto Vimukti is a vast subject. Actually, it's available even in Samatha as well as in Vipassana. Say, for example, in Metta, you can get Cheto Vimukti. Metta Cheto Vimukti is the most supreme state one can come through, through Metta, towards loving kindness. Similarly, Mudita, Upekha, Karuna, all have this Cheto Vimukti. That is the sort of, there is no boundary. You are completely spreading metta towards the whole universe. Say, for example, just to explain one example, say you start loving kindness towards yourself first. May I be happy, may I be well, like that you are starting. Then suppose you are selecting another person, the same sex person, and you are someone who you are respecting, and you are spreading metta towards him or her. Now you are capable of doing that. Then you select some more. And then say for the whole direction, to the front direction, all people, all animal, all beings, you are spreading metta. Then to the right direction, to the behind direction, to the left direction, to the upper direction, to the lower direction. Now very much like for the whole direction you can spread metta. So as you are skillful about this, then ultimately you are able to spread metta towards all the beings throughout the universe. So then there is no boundary and there is no any category in the mind, rather towards everyone. Everyone is included and every direction is included. You are like a source of metta and it's boundless. So this is where you are reaching the metta Cheto Vimukti. Mind has freed through metta. Mind has no boundary because our minds are typically, contracted, kind of narrowed. We have a narrow perspective. What we typically say, we can't see the big picture, rather we are narrowed down. So the mind is locked like. Mind hasn't have the freedom. But on the other hand, suppose in a situation where your mind become inside of large, in order to see the whole big picture. So you see the big picture, you see all different angles. Similarly in metta, when your mind at the same time sort of capable of spreading metta towards the whole universe, all beings. So it's a very big mind. So it's a free mind. That is the kind of a freedom available for the mind through metta. So similarly, it happens, it's possible in similarly say mudita, upekha, karuna, for all these also this is available. On the other hand, in the Vipassana side, Cheto Vimuktis are available in Animitta Cheto Vimukti, Sunyata Cheto Vimukti, Appanhita Cheto Vimukti, like that. In the Vipassana side, that's also possible. So at the beginning, you have very little kind of a freedom, only for short time, and that is only again in a particular direction. But as you develop, you are capable of having the similar kind of a vimukti, similar kind of a freedom, where not limited to a particular direction, but to the whole spread, whole universe like. Everywhere there is nothing to grasp. Mind is utterly free. Nowhere it is being grasped. So then you get into the, say, what you call the sunyata or appanhita, animitta, cheto vimuktis. So typically what happens is, say, cheto vimukti can happen at the beginning, and then and there you are using the wisdom to sort of facilitate it. Say you are able to maintain unattached mind, defilement free mind, unassociated mind, say for 5 minutes. After that again, suppose your mind grasps something. At that time your mindfulness will tell, okay, again it has grasped. Then you have to apply wisdom to release it. Now you are releasing the mind through wisdom. You are applying the wisdom and release the mind. Again coming back to the already available wisdom, available freedom that is available to the Cheto Vimukti. So it's very much like they are working hand in hand. Say, Cheto Vimutti was achieved, but you can't maintain it because of the defilements. And when mind again get attached, you recognize it. The mindfulness will show you. And then you apply wisdom there, and you are able to escape from that attachment, or free from that attachment, rescue your mind from that attachment. And that rescue operation is done through the wisdom. So the rescue operation is done through the wisdom. So that is, freedom happens through wisdom. So therefore, it's a kind of reinforcement of the Cheto Vimutti by Panya Vimutti. So therefore, this is go hand in hand. So you can't say therefore whether the complete freedom either happen entirely through Cheto Vimutti or Panya Vimutti. They may go hand in hand. So who knows ultimately which one may ultimately help? That we can't predict. So therefore Buddha has mentioned, so there are people more giving prominence for the Cheto Vimutti, and there are people more giving prominence for the Panya Vimutti. So those are the kind of character traits in different people. So therefore Buddha says, so there are certain arahants who came having Cheto Vimutti as the prominence, given the prominence. And there may be other arahants who has given Panya Vimutti as the prominence. So likewise the explanation is given. Yeah.
So Cheto Vimutti can be temporary states.
Cheto Vimutti, yes, that's a temporary because we have the defilements. Right. So the defilements are cut through by wisdom, then Cheto Vimutti becomes further extended. Extended right. Cheto Vimutti.
Okay.
Previously we have 5 minutes, you are able to maintain Cheto Vimutti. Then assume your mind again grasped. So you lost the Cheto Vimutti. Grasping means you lost. Because your mind is utterly free, then it is Vimukti. Free mind. But again say you select something. So assume you have 10 objects available. Your mind is not grasping any of them. You select one of them as attractive, and again your mind is grasping that. You lost your freedom. Grasp mind is not a free mind. So then you are locked, you lost. You are now, you have some tension available. Assume then you are applying wisdom there. And now you rescue the mind. Now again it becomes free. Now say you are doing it again and again. Likewise, yesterday we mentioned in the Dhamma sermon, say, Panyaya Disswa Pahatabba. Again and again mind become angry. So you look at it, you understand it, and then you release it. Again your mind become angry, again you understand it, release it. Likewise, anger becomes less and less. So defilement power become less and less. Now Cheto Vimutti also become more and more. Because anger, lust, hatred, delusion, what you call envy, and different defilements are now also reducing. So your freedom is enlarging. So it's go hand in hand. It's kind of a supportive operations. Yeah.
Much many thank you very much, sir.
So it may be your question.
Yes. Thank you. Explained a lot. Thank you. Another general question. Bhante, are there any bhikkhuni aramya which are under the guidance of the Nissarana Vanaya? If someone needs to contact them, how can they contact them? Are there any particular procedures to enter them?
Bhikkhuni order? Actually, Nissarana is supporting one Dasasel Mata Arame. It's not a Bhikkhuni Arame. It's called Pilisarana Meheni Arame. It's in Kirindivela. You can talk to Mr. Hevage, and actually he is the monastery manager, and he will give you the directions. And there are some good nuns who are meditating and doing well in Pilisarana Meheni Arame. So that is the only one actually has some connection with Nissarana. Yeah.
Dear Bhante, I have here on the Dhamma talk, if someone becomes a Margapala as he being in Gihi, not as a monk. It's only a result from the observing Duttanga or special sil in his previous samsara. It means if someone need to become a Margapala, he or she has to become a monk at least once a lifetime in his samsara. Is this true?
So you all have been monks and nuns, who knows? So you don't know. I mean, having a human being, having a human birth is a really rare opportunity. And we all have been monks and nuns, we don't know. I mean, therefore you don't think that the different preconditions have to be satisfied. So right now, assume that you have all complete potential. So therefore, it's difficult to say yes or no answer, because it's a long samsara we are traversing. Yeah, so you never know. You only Buddha may know. So what is the potential we have? So therefore, that's why we need to have some kind of a positive feeling about the skills we have. We don't know the potential about our minds. And say, for example, just to give a simple story, say during Buddha's time, there is one couple, Visakha and the Dhammadinna. Now you might know the story. So Visakha was one devoted Upasaka, and he visited Buddha, but not Dhammadinna. Dhammadinna is the wife. And one day Visakha became an Anagami, non-returner, and now he is returning home. And he is telling to Dhammadinna, so I have no desire of leading a household life. So if you want to marry someone, you take your decision. I am all right. So please, you can marry someone else. But I am just want to live a sort of a celibate life. Then the Dhammadinna understood something different with her husband now. And now she's also thinking, so why I can't become a nun then? Now she's thinking more advanced than even Visakha. And then he got the permission from Visakha, her husband, and then she became a nun, and she became an arahant even. Now the whole story is available in the Chula Vedala Sutta. Now she's returning back to the Krosa monastery. And now Visakha has doubts. Why this fellow immediately came back? Now she has gone to some far forest to practice, and within a couple of months or very short period, she came back to the city, say close by monastery. Now he wants to test Venerable Dhammadinna. Now he went to meet Venerable Dhammadinna and asked deeper questions. So all questions are endorsed by the Buddha, the answers are endorsed by the Buddha, telling Dhammadinna is a real wise person. So therefore it's very difficult to tell what are the potentials we have. And on the other hand, there's another story. There are very rich family, and it's called Mahadana Situputwata. I don't know the Sinhala translation. Kind of a really wealthy merchant family. So the husband has immense amount of say wealth. The wife also has immense amount of wealth. And one day this the person, the merchant has going on some thing, and they were drunkens. So they understood these people are very rich. So there may be some benefits we can get. So they offer some drink free of charge. You know, the alcohol free of charge to this person. So he drank it. The next day also is given free. He drank it. Slowly he become addicted. Now he is taking drinks, alcohol for the others as well. And slowly he spent all of his own money for the drinking alcohol. He has almost bankrupt. Then he is using the wife's wealth for drinking. Ultimately both of them become beggars. And Buddha has seen these beggars on the road while Buddha was traveling. And then he is commenting about their situation. And Buddha is telling, if these two were leading proper household life, they become the in a particular city, the king has recognized someone has given the major merchant or the Mahadana, there are certain recognitions given by the king. At this moment he was not such, but if they were leading proper household life, they had that potential, but they ruined that. On the other hand, if they were able to come to the sasana, became monk and nun, they had the potential of becoming arahants. Assume, and Buddha says, suppose they didn't do that, say they come to the sasana after some time, say 40 years or something like that, at the age of 40 years, for example, they had the potential of becoming anagami. Say at the age of 50, they had the potential of becoming sakadagami. Say at the age of 60, they had the potential of becoming, say, sotapanna. But now, everything lost. So basically, what we need to understand is the potential is there, but they haven't utilized it. So therefore, we can't say what is the potential we have. So it's a matter of getting the opportunity, using the opportunity, and develop the mind. So we never know what is the skill available. So therefore, don't underestimate yourself about the potentials. So just continue the practice. So practice will show you the potentials slowly, and then you can continue. Yeah.
Respected Bhante, I have heard so many times that in the good old days, during the Buddha's time, that a large number of monks attained arahat during unbearable pain due to accidents and injuries. Could this be possible, and if so, how could it be connected with the path of meditation to gain stages of sovan and so on? May you be blessed with the power of wisdom.
Yeah. As far as we can consider, they have to have fair amount of wisdom, and there's one story happened, I think in Sri Lanka. It's available in the commentary, where one monk was meditating at a cave, and he has a brother, and brother's wife was little doubtful about the returning of the monk brother. What happens if he returns? So all the property has to be given back. So the lay brother's wife is now asking the thieves to kill the monk. So now he is sending several thieves to kill the monk. Now these thieves are going to the cave, and now they are ready to kill. And this monk was really dedicated practitioner. Then he is asking, can you give me one day? Then they are ready, but still they say, you may run away. So how can we trust you? Then say, okay, I'll break my both legs, then you may trust me. Okay, then you do it yourself. Then he taken a stone and broken the two knees. Now he can't run away. Now the robbers understood, yes, he is trustworthy. And he started to meditate, and it is said he became an arahant. And after becoming an arahant, he was killed, by the way. So it has become a major story, because he was able to recognize these very, severe pains and practice. So but the problem is, you can't use that immediately. You have to do that when you are in a good state. So don't wait till your knees are cut, till your knees are broken. So when you are good, in a good mood, in a happy mood, practice. So that is where you can build up concentration. So when the concentration is built up with with good conditions, happy conditions, then you can extend that to even to the bad conditions. Then you know the skill, you have the skill, you know the method, you know the causes needed for the concentration, for example, similar to the wisdom. So therefore it is typically said, particularly Bhante Dhammajiva is emphasizing it, now this meditation is very much like a preventive measure, not a curity. So when you become sick, you go for cure. But before you become sick, you have the prevention. So therefore, try to meditate when you are healthy. when you are in a good mood, then you have the time, you are developing the skills, then even at the sickness, it will help you. Yes.
That was the last question, Venerable Sir.
Yeah.
I think maybe I can hand over.